We should be here. Hopefully the stream's working.
Hey. I don't know. I just wanted to shout things.
Okay, I'm turning the music off at least. Hey everybody, welcome back for episode 3 of the dotSlashGaming podcast. How is everybody doing?
Doing great.
Oh,
doing good.
Great week.
Doing good.
Busy week, but good week.
Busy week, but good week.
Productive.
I feel you there. Yeah? What's productive in your life?
Productive in my life is dotSlashGaming.com. No
Yeah.
plug.
Thank you, Daniel, for all the hard work you've done, because you have definitely done a lot. I know I've been MIA, I feel like, the last few days because I've been with my family and all this. So good job. You did a good job holding the site up.
It's worth it. It's all for you guys. So
yeah, he gave his life for dotSlashGaming.
I give my life for dotSlashGaming.
Where's the tattoo going? Is it on your back or on your shoulder?
I can't actually discuss that TOS on Twitch.
Oh, okay. I understand. We wouldn't want to do that here. That's good. Well, this is episode 3. Tonight we got another random assortment of hosts. Myself, Kevin. I'm back. Yay. Daniel, who was just talking. Oh, thank you. See, that's the engagement that I need right there.
I'm back.
Daniel is back. Gabe up in the top left, rocking his Star Wars shirt.
That's me.
And then straight from the Nerd Cave,
Star Wars.
we got Mike joining us for the first time.
What's up?
Hello,
welcome.
Mike.
And welcome in, Mike. Good to have you here.
Too.
You tasked me. We're checking the audio quick.
Yeah.
I figured I'd help us out quick. I'm a tiny bit low, and Gabe is a tiny bit low. And I think that will even it out, maybe.
You can all see me doing this live here.
You
I had you low.
Yeah, it's all good, you know.
Oh, that could be. Maybe I
makes it feel real when we're adjusting volumes on screen.
Yeah, we are real people talking about real video games.
It's always weird because when I update anyone's volume, it like pops in to show. I don't know why I had you so low already, Mike. Everyone listening is like, wow, look at all the cool behind the scenes stuff.
So
probably something else we did. Probably from the
hacking in as we speak.
Days.
Yeah, the good old days. Jeez. All right, so now we're all good and ready. So, what did everybody do over the last week? Did we play fun games? Did we do fun things? I know Dan worked on the website a ton, so I don't know how much gaming you actually did.
I played no video games.
Well, then maybe we'll do it this way.
A hard bargain.
Well,
let's just put it that way.
Yeah, I'm pretty intense. I don't really let Dan do much else. He's had to quit everything in his life. He's currently single. His kids don't like him anymore, and it's a whole thing. So
it's just this big thing here.
Poor guy. Anyways,
no, I fired up some Warno. I'm trying to get into the modern RTS spirit. We got some demos coming out this week. We'll talk about a little bit later with you guys.
Yeah, I feel like our Discord has turned into like the RTS Discord.
I mean,
like everybody that's joining loves RTS and like these turn-based like the 4X games, and
they like them, and it would be really cool to start playing these games with you guys too. You know,
gosh,
so we've talked about that. We're not quite ready to go down that avenue with the viewership yet, but we are in talks of doing something like that. So that I think that would be really cool.
Which games specifically would you want to play with everybody?
So that's a that's a good question.
That's loaded question.
That's something that we wanted to kind of discuss in the Discord with everybody, get everybody involved, see what
I didn't
throw
say
the line up
everybody.
there.
I said which games do you want to
Do
play?
I want to?
Which
Yeah.
one do you
He
want
doesn't
to
care about
force on the
everybody
world?
else.
Yeah, he's like, it doesn't matter. Dan, you're the only person that matters here.
Right here. Your
I would
microphone?
really like to start getting into some modern RTS games with some people if that's a thing that they want to do. Even if you haven't tried stuff like that. I think there's a good player base on our Discord that would like to get into that too. I've
Do you
gotten
have
some
an idea
messages about it.
Maybe which one?
Well, before Broken Arrow comes out, Broken Arrow is the one that's on my radar big time.
Okay.
There's a demo coming out. Again, we'll talk about that stuff later with our Steam Next Fest discussion.
That was the one game no one wanted to play. Everyone just left the Discord.
It was because of that.
They're like, no, never heard of this game. Indie games. What's an indie game? No,
the indie
AAA
game.
or nothing. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
I'd like to get
that'll
people into. I guess Warno would be the direct competitor that's out right now currently. Not too expensive. Another indie dev. I think mostly modern RTSs right now are indie devs. I don't think there's a AAA. I'll probably be corrected by somebody at some point, but I do not believe there's a AAA modern RTS.
Like, I
Doesn't
mean,
really matter as long as we enjoy it.
I mean, there is.
Yeah, it was like, what about like Age of Empires 4? It just came out.
Right, or the new Minecraft Legends is coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's
just talked about last week.
That's an RTS.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, what are we talking about? Isn't that what we're talking about?
I thought you just said RTS.
Yeah.
Well, a modern RTS, right? That's a genre, technically.
Oh, okay.
So I've been reading your articles, and I didn't know that this is something totally different. Then what is a modern RTS versus an RTS?
So I guess a real-time strategy game would be something that you just said. You know, Age of Empires is real-time strategy.
Okay.
It's kind of I would say that's an umbrella term.
So what makes the modern ones different?
They're based off a ticket system. There's no base building involved.
So like can't even think of something.
Trying to think.
Something that's not base building.
How is it not RTS?
So just the ones that I mentioned, like Warno, Wargame, Red Dragon. You guys can look this up too on Steam.
So it's almost somewhere between at that point auto chess and a regular RTS, like an old school RTS, because it's like a little more in depth than something like an auto chess style game where you're just on essentially a board or a plane with like team fight tactics. It's more in depth, more like a real world almost. But
so is it more like a Total War game? Is that like what you're saying?
So now you're getting into 4X territory.
Okay, see, I didn't know if those were completely classified under 4X game.
The chat's gonna rip you apart, Kevin.
Gosh, I don't play any of these things.
Actually, Mr. brought up a good point. So 4X is an RTS, right? But an RTS is not a 4X necessarily.
Oh,
right.
Okay.
So 4X you have to have it's exploration. I can't even actually remember all the.
Okay, yeah, because Captain K in the chat says Age of Empires 4 is at least a Total War Warhammer 3. What is AA? Like AA game or?
No, it's Alcoholics Anonymous.
Alcoholics Anonymous.
Oh,
double.
Makes sense.
Now it's making sense.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, okay, I'll tell you something. Some irony, or I don't know the right word, but I make a gaming website. I recruit all these people, and the only game genre I've never touched is these 4X games, and literally the whole Discord and the website is turning into this. I know nothing of these games. I could talk about puzzles, racers, sports, shooters, RPG, and I am somehow create a website that is like RTS based. Sorry, modern RTS based.
They're definitely brainy games. I'll say that.
Yeah, I'm stupid. I want to play Nintendo games.
No one see you said that. I didn't say it. Let's go.
I'll admit it. I want to play like Splatoon or something easy.
I mean, you like Mario? You want Nintendo?
Yeah, I need some of that.
You just put him with some Rabbids, and you kind of get an entry point into RTS.
I cannot wait to play that game. So we're pretty good.
Just go play Command and Conquer, go play StarCraft, get your feet wet, right? And then you can move into the modern
Okay.
RTS where it gets a little bit more
I was gonna say
complicated.
maybe start even simpler than like a StarCraft.
Right?
Yeah, I don't wanna
Maybe
do that.
Maybe that was a bad choice.
That's been around too long, and the skill ceiling's a little high. You're just gonna get flamed.
Yeah. I played that, and I played Warcraft 3 Reforged a bit. I played
Okay. Yeah. See, so
I played Age of Empires 4. So I've been playing the not modern versions of those, I guess. The Age of Mythology remake is coming out, so that's something I'm pretty excited for. I
yeah,
played a ton of
that's
that
cool.
game.
That's I'm actually looking forward to that. Honestly, it's been on my radar for a little bit. But like everything in 2023, I'm not really hyped for much of nothing. Everything's getting delayed. And if it's not getting delayed, it's getting pushed into early access, which I don't even know what to say about that.
Well,
So
not to what am I trying to say? Not to get the excitement out of the way at the beginning, so let's hold this to the end. But there is a big release coming out this week that I think a handful of us are picking up, and I think we'll lead into that. So,
I know you.
Yeah,
It's
let's
Advanced
lead into
Wars 1 and 2 reboot camp.
you know what? I forgot about that. We were just talking about that in the Discord
that's
too.
exactly what he wanted to say.
That's what it's got to be. February 10th, right?
Is that okay? Now, oh man, we're all over the place tonight. I'm gonna get so many nasty messages and go, I watched the podcast and I think you suck, but I don't care. I'm having fun. Damn it. All right, so let's go back to 6 topics here.
Viewers are gonna tell you that.
So let's go back to Advanced Wars. The Advanced Wars thing that wasn't official yet, so we're still waiting to see, and they're hopefully gonna have a direct on what, like Tuesday or something that people are saying, or sometime this week.
I wouldn't be surprised if they just don't. Now that I said that earlier,
And just so everybody listening who doesn't pay attention, because I think Mike, you're like one of the only Nintendo people within this Discord. There's very few of us in there. Everyone hates me for it. But
it's definitely a minority.
Dan hates Nintendo so much he put his Switch in the toilet. So that's how bad it is.
I've been trying to work on my
so funny.
Oh, that okay. I saw you have that right before the stream. What is in the shape of? Is okay. That's what I thought.
It's like a Game Boy, but it's my like physical.
Ah, that's so badass. Here.
That's awesome.
I'm starting to actually. The more we see like the digital sites or digital like backends for consoles.
Oh no.
The more I'm like, I need some physical
empty though.
games.
I mean, I have games that fill it, but it's like almost too big. I like yours. I can fit like 120 in here.
Dude, I'll send you my affiliate link, like $15 on Amazon.
But I already bought this. I don't need to buy more things. It is just pretty chunky though. That's the problem. So I wasn't sure which one.
But that one has more slots. Now you got to buy more games. So
I have
his. You have to buy less.
I probably have like 100
full.
Switch games. Like that's how many I have.
Oh, is that all?
I have a lot. Anyways, so going back to Advanced Wars. Advanced Wars was rumored to be coming out soon, and the backstory on that for everyone who doesn't know, it was supposed to come out in what 2021 or 2022. It was
supposed to originally
spring of last year.
2021. Yep.
Yeah, it was holiday 2021. It got delayed into like February or January of 2022, and then they kept delaying it because of the Ukraine Russia conflicts, because the game is essentially the antagonist is someone based off of like Joseph Stalin or something.
Yeah.
Like one of the communist leaders in Russia invading another country.
So it wasn't a good look.
The whole point of the game is defending against that. So that coming out right at the same time, Russia
the timing though.
Yeah,
that's not very good, is it?
It wasn't a good look for any company to put a game out like that. So I think Nintendo kind of did the right thing, and that's why I wouldn't be surprised if it dropped and there wasn't a direct either. Is because
they want to just get it out quietly.
I think they want to get it out. They've had this ready to ship for over a year now, and they're probably like, let's do it, but quiet. Let's just push it out there. It's the same day as Harry Potter. No one will even look at it.
Yeah, maybe that.
Did you read your Discord by chance for the volume?
No. I haven't changed anything.
Yes, no, we got to.
We're getting yelled at, guys.
Turn the volume up for the whole stream.
All right, it's going up.
I was gonna say that.
And you Kevin, are loud and overpowering, and people don't want to hear you. They said.
That's just
that's just me in general. I'm very loud.
It was just you. They they said that everybody else
Guys,
was great.
I just
and then
opened
they-
up
they went
a
to
root
turn.
beer, so I'm gonna get wild.
I was gonna say you did just
There's
put your
a
mic
l-
close to your mouth actually, and you
Oh,
did
yeah.
get louder.
Okay, so now I back it down again. Usually we do
Maybe
a
that's it.
sound check, and I ended up just talking through the whole time we were supposed to do it, and then I was like, "Oh, let's go live," and then I realized I never did sound check. So
Yeah.
sorry, team. Just all
It's
over the
good.
place.
Yeah.
We'll get there
Okay.
eventually.
So let's back up here. We've gone all over the place, and
It's okay. It's the beginning of the stream.
yeah.
Whatever. Let's
You
talk about that first bullet point that was brought up by Mike. Actually,
Which one was that?
that's live service. Live
Oh, yeah.
services.
Oh, you're
ending
going
this
right
week.
into him now.
We're going
Well,
right in.
I was gonna cut
going
you
right in.
off really quick. Did Gabe and you and everybody talk about their games and everything of the week?
No, not
Negative.
yet. That's what I was gonna go back
Oh,
to.
Do we want to hop into that really
games
quick?
of the week.
Yeah, I do.
guys
But
wanna-
Dan was trying to derail everything.
I'm ready whenever.
I just
Dan
wanted to
took control of my computer. He hacked into it, and he's like
I
muting
did.
me. It was
and-
weird.
I
and
actually
with that-
changed all the transitions and everything.
With that, as someone who listened,
not live
to the
anymore.
First two, as someone who listened to the first 2 weeks, I wanted to ask each of you because I was trying to find everybody who is on the podcast, find out a little bit more about them. So I wanted to come in as like a side person, be like, all right, who are each of you, and what made you
Who
want
are
to start doing this, like doing a games news website with Kevin, writing articles? Did did he force you into this? Do you need help? Or is this something you chose to do because of something else in your life?
It's obviously for the money. So
So either of you, Gabe, go
Totally.
first.
Yep.
Gabe.
Okay, well, I guess I could just give the story on it because I wasn't even really looking for anything. So this is what happened. I'm sure Kevin remembers because he started messaging me as soon as I was the first one to message back.
he was
thing
our first team member.
So I was scrolling through I forget where'd you post it? What's the app?
It was on Reddit.
Reddit, that's the one. So I'm on Reddit, right? Because I was actually sitting out in the woods hunting at the time. The woods were completely dead. I was bored. I'm like, you know what? Let's open Reddit. Why not? See what's going on. And I'm on a gaming thread, and it popped up. I don't even remember how old the post was, but I saw it said something about content creation and the whole. He mentioned the podcasting in there, but like this is my first podcast. I've never done podcasting before, so I was like, you know what? I could probably do some writing, which I haven't done yet. Work is keeping me too busy to really do much of anything. But he mentioned the podcasting, and I was like, I don't know, put my face on the internet. That's weird. But then he mentioned, what we were going to be
Do
talking
that.
about type of thing. And I'm like, I could probably get into that. So we first started talking and he was like, hey, let's do a voice chat real quick. And I'm like, I would love to, but I'm sitting in the woods and I'm trying to be quiet and not scare all the animals away. So that's how I had come across it. I honestly didn't even think about doing it until I saw his post. And
So
I'm just
one
looking at the post.
key detail that you're missing that I don't think you even know. So what I did is I literally was trying to start this website, and I'm like, I need to get people, but I want to get people outside of just people I know locally. So I'm trying to get outreach across the world because I love that, like, input in all these different places, and it's kind of nice to have friends all over the country and the world, like I said. So I made this Reddit post asking, like, this is basically me I need help. You're not going to get paid, but this is for fun. We have a future. Come join us, whatever. And Gabe responded, and one other person responded, and then I got banned off that Reddit page for promoting.
Yeah, he got
So-
straight.
Oh, man.
I remember you
So
said that.
I decided I have to try somewhere else. But
I was privy to all the inside information on that one. It was fun.
What was the reasoning for them banning that post, anyways?
Promotion.
I was self-promotion, I think.
Did you not have it? Did they not have a way
Really?
to tag it as promotion?
I read through the rules on the page. I picked a random
Weird.
page I was on, not one that I go to a lot.
Okay.
So that way, if I got banned, I wouldn't care. So I
Mm.
checked the rules, and I didn't break any of them. They said I couldn't sell anything, but I said this is for nonprofit at this point. Like I have no anything. I'm not making money off of this currently. I'm just trying to find like-minded, passionate people. So
Yeah.
and then I tried to
That's so weird.
appeal it, and they just never even responded. So I'm forever blocked.
Rude.
But it was
We weren't
worth it.
selling
We got-
nothing.
we got Gabe
We're
out
not
of it.
paying anybody. So I don't know.
Exactly.
So I
I'm
wonder.
pretty sure you even said in the post that we weren't getting paid.
Yeah, I said this was just a for fun thing right now. We're just looking to get started. It was just myself at the time, so
Yeah.
We'd like to at some point, but
yeah, we want to be rich, but we'll see.
So
yeah,
just straight with it.
Gabe,
we
You
all
guys
other
have to make us
jobs.
rich. That's all.
That's
we're
all
doing
I got
this
you here for.
And then you'll never see it again.
So Gabe, I don't know if you had anything else to say before I cut you off.
I mean, that was really about it. Like I said, no thought to it until I saw the post. As I'm looking at the post, before I even responded to it, I just started thinking, and I'm like, I mean, I like video games. I could tell people about them.
There you go.
Heck yeah.
So Mike,
I mean, that's it. That's it.
Mike, I know you're new this week and it's your first time on any of our streams, so maybe you want to tell the story about how you and I met and how you got to be here.
Okay, so yeah, this one time I went to Detroit and I was just walking down the street. No, I'm just kidding.
Great story already. Keep going.
Just walking down the street.
I actually have a YouTube channel, Mike's Nerd Cave, as well as a Twitch channel. But for a while, I was doing like tech reviews on Mike's Nerd Cave, the YouTube channel. And I have a couple videos on there that actually did quite well, specifically about the LG Nano 85 TV that came out in 2020. It was one of the first TVs
Right
at
here,
least
guys.
kind of on a budget that could do 4K 120 hertz
right there
with HDMI 2.1, and it came out just before the current gen consoles that are out now. And I knew those were coming out. I wanted something that would be I could take full advantage of those consoles on. And we were moving into a new house, needed a new TV anyway. So it's like, okay, let's do this. I got the TV. I'm like, I'm just gonna make some videos. Let's see what happens. And Kevin here was doing another gig at the time called Link Cable Gaming. Was under somebody else who was trying to build a website, but also was less into the YouTube, Twitch, podcasting side of things. And Kevin was kind of running that for them. Kevin reached out to me because he found me on YouTube and asked if I wanted to come on, do some of the podcasting with them, and just hang out, talk games, similar to what we're doing here. And
Nice.
I was like, yeah, that's awesome. I would absolutely love to. Next thing you know, Kevin flies out here for my birthday for a LAN party in the basement where we drink a lot of alcohol.
I was watching, by the way. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah, live streaming the whole party. That was.
I was watching, and I think I gave you a bunch of money.
Okay, that's
I think
so.
I did.
There's names in this. There's names in this Discord that I recognize from like Twitch and YouTube on my stuff before. Like I swear I recognized JT Kirk from somewhere too, and I'm wondering if that's what it was from. I recognized you, and I was like, "Why do I know these names?" And that makes so much sense.
I gave this man $5,000, and he doesn't even remember.
I plugged your birthday and everything I had. I shared it. I'm like, we're having a birthday party.
I think I was the only one that was in there at the time too.
So we did. It was a stream, and I made a huge mistake in that I was like, "Oh yeah, if you like gift a sub, I have to flip one of these cups on the table and do the challenge," which every challenge just turned into take a drink, because it was my birthday, and I didn't end up like the rest of the guys ended up playing games on stream and having a great time, as we were all supposed to, and I ended up just going and eating pizza upstairs because I couldn't really function enough to play games. And if I ever do that again, I'm gonna make sure there's less alcohol involved.
It was a good birthday party. I had a good.
Or just tell them what you're drinking is alcohol. Don't tell them.
It was a lot of fun. Either way, though, and yeah. So Kevin came out here for that, and then since then, I think we were both I think Link Cable kind of disappeared.
Yeah.
So
R.I.P.
I haven't been on a stream with you guys in a long time, and I kind of took a break from YouTube and Twitch for a while when I had a new
because of all that money I gave you. You just retired.
Didn't need it.
I retired.
Like, I don't need to do this anymore.
That was all I needed.
You retired for like
Bought a
3
yacht.
days.
I hang out with Bezos now. It's wild, but it's,
you have his number 2. God.
Yeah.
Well, I got it from you. That was one of the donations.
Right.
Yeah. You're like, here's your birthday present.
I doxed him live.
Guys, you know, and the moral of the whole story between Mike and I is I bought the TV, so he deserves the sale.
True. I did it I don't know if you used the affiliate link, but yeah, I might have.
I
gotten
don't
money
know if
from
I
that.
did, to be honest.
I might have- I
Probably
actually-
should have.
mine,
If I didn't, that's pretty
I
bad.
actually made like $150 off of making that video from that TV, just
Wow.
from people buying it on
Nice.
Amazon.
I think
Nice.
I
So
did.
that was pretty cool, and I had no idea. I think I didn't even the original video. I didn't even have links in for like months.
Wow.
So I probably could have made more, but I didn't even know that was a thing. I just made the video because I'm like, oh, this is a really cool TV, and no one was talking about it. Even
No,
still,
it wasn't. It's still
everyone just talks about the top tier, like the OLEDs on most review channels, and I'm like, there's these other TVs that are like $400 that have
I
all of the
recommended this
top-end gaming features.
this
and
TV to
you
so many of
don't
my
have to-
friends. I'm like, you got
Yeah.
a PS5. This is perfect for it. Like,
Yep.
and I think this is a 49 inch I have or 48. Like, it's small enough to fit in the wall of my office, and it's perfect.
They make a 43-inch version of it of the new one now as well, which is I think them and Sony both have one that's like the same panel, and I think you can get it for like $400 or $500 for like the 43-inch that does 4K 120 hertz. That's an awesome display.
Time for a new video, I think.
A
There you go.
4K 144 hertz monitor is like $600-700. So if you're looking for something like that
Dang.
for a gaming PC too,
hmm
that might be the way to go. But yeah, I don't. So to get back to the base thing, guys, I'm Mike's Nerd Cave. That's how I met Kevin, and for this week, I guess I just played the new SpongeBob game, SpongeBob: The Cosmic Shake, which is a 3D platformer in the similar vein to like a Mario 64 or Sunshine, or even Odyssey. And
Where are you playing it at?
it takes. I'm playing it on Xbox.
Okay.
Just because that's
I
what
think
we
it's
had
all
set up in the
platforms,
living room.
right? It's on
Yep, it's
Switch,
on
PlayStation, everything else.
Every
Yeah.
single platform across.
Yep.
Plays on the old ones like Xbox One and PS4 as well.
Nice.
And it's $40. Just a fun platformer, and it's gonna tie into a topic I have we brought up for a little later on in the show. But yeah, that's me. That's where I come from, and yeah, I don't know, Mr. Jagged Edge.
You don't want me to
you-
fast forward this time to the credits like I did tried to do
Yeah, I
earlier?
tried to jump in.
Just
You-
All right,
do
let's jump to the
And
very
that's our
last
show,
thing here.
guys.
Thanks, everybody. I'm like,
This
all
is-
right,
thanks,
well,
thanks everybody for watching.
Mr. Jagged Edge, where do you come from? I
Me
don't
and
know if you've talked
Kevin.
about this.
So how did I get involved with dotSlash? As you're asking,
Yeah, did he like force? Did
He
hold you
forced
down
me
and, like,
to.
spit on you?
if you can read my lips, then you can.
I like games. He said, "I like games.
Yeah.
Kevin's best." That's what I saw.
oh, real
I've never
quick
done a-
before we go to you, Daniel. There's,
He just
I know I'm cutting you off, but the chat is talking about SpongeBob, so we got to talk about it because we're gonna lose it. JT
Well-
Kirk saying, "How does the new SpongeBob game compare to the remastered one that dropped a couple years ago?"
So, and that's the thing is they use that as kind of a blueprint for it. There's a few differences. I'm going to be writing an article on it for the website, so I don't want to go super in depth. But one of the big things is in the older game, it was really cool that you could play as the different characters like Sandy, Patrick, and SpongeBob, and you'd have different abilities across the board
hmm
for different levels. For going back, almost style of like a Metroidvania, where you could go back to old worlds, old levels, and access new things once you had the new characters and new abilities. In this game, you just play as SpongeBob the whole time, but you constantly get new abilities, and
that's different.
throughout
That's
the game.
That's kind of a contrast from the old one. Then
it is, but it's so far it's great. We just beat the second major level, and the levels are much longer than the old one as well. I think we're 2 levels in, and I don't know if there's as many total levels, but each one took around an hour to play through.
Oh yeah, that's pretty big. Well, the other one
And,
was a remake of a 2007 game or something, right? Or
Yeah, I think like 2000.
Something like
yeah,
that.
probably around there.
it was something like that. Yeah.
Because it was a PS2 title originally,
Mhm.
and I have a ton of nostalgia for it. I played it. It was the first game I ever played with my niece, so that was a lot of fun. But I loved the remake when it came back out, and it was a perfect game for like my fiance and I to get into. And now with the new one, we're having a ton of fun with it. I just got the ability. It's like a jump kick. But
Okay.
there's always signs that have like a little footprint on it, so you know like what you can kick in the game, and it's kind of a traversal mechanic where you can go from like rooftop to rooftop with these balloons that are floating in the air because you jump kick them, and it dashes when you hit the kick button. It'll dash you across the air to it, and you get your jump back, so you can jump again and kick again, and kind of like travel through the sky. Where in the old game, you would have had Sandy and her lasso to float through the sky. So you can tell they're trying to add the same kind of traversal mechanics as you go, just all under just SpongeBob. The other, I think, really cool thing they did with this game is they got all of the original voice actors from the series.
Hey,
Oh,
so
that's
awesome.
cool. That's
Which-
huge, actually.
Yeah,
I
which
wanna play this
actually
now.
is a lot
That
better.
really
and
affects the dynamic of the game.
Kevin
Game
already
looks
bought everybody
really
a
good.
CD key, so we're all gonna get to play it for free.
So I don't want to spoil anything else, and I don't want to get into the other reason I wanted to bring this game up because that's kind of like the second or third topic for the show. So I'll end it there, but I will say if you're looking for a fun, just 3D platformer that has that kind of early 2000s, late 90s nostalgia.
And adults can play this too, right? It's not just
Yeah.
for kids. You know,
Yeah, I can see the chat.
Someone in chat
I am
asking
12
us.
years
this up.
old.
I'm skeptical too because I'm you know.
Honestly, if you're someone this is going to be part of the topic later, because there's a specific review I'm going to bring up from someone who reviewed the Xbox version on Metacritic.
Okay.
Who absolutely flamed the game.
Ooh.
It gave it a 4 out of 10. Well, we'll get into why, but I think it's like, okay, why'd you even bother reviewing this game, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right.
rough.
It sounds like it wasn't for them. They didn't say
Well-
anything bad about the game. They're just like, I'm not 12, so I don't like it.
I think some of these reviewers are biased, and I'm not going to say any names because I don't want to get yelled at.
Evan.
But no, some of these reviewers, not from dotSlash. Let's put that out there.
So I just
I think they're biased going into some of these reviews. They don't want to like it, and
Yeah.
so they don't. I mean, if you go into it pessimistic like that, I don't think you're gonna like it. It's just how it is. I think as a reviewer, I think it's almost your duty to go into a review unbiased.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
I'm excited. That's going to be, I think that's pretty much the heart of the topic in a little
yeah,
bit.
yeah. So hold it there, Dan, because
we'll
I'm
jump
I'm
into
holding my
that.
tongue, trying not to say what I gotta
I
say.
know,
So we'll wait.
I'm like, oh, I want to
trying.
All right. Okay. So
trying.
Daniel, back to you. I've interrupted you. We went back to SpongeBob.
No, that's
But-
okay. I don't want to spend too much time on this part.
You could actually
Kevin
jump into that.
Kevin just asked me to be a part of dotSlash. I've never done podcasting before. I did used to stream on Twitch. Some of the viewers here probably saw me. This was years ago that I did that. I kind of stopped due to time and things like that. But I wanted to get into not only streaming again, but I wanted to help Kevin out with the podcast. I thought that was a really cool idea. I think that we make a good team. And that's pretty much how it started. He pretty much just asked me if I wanted to do it. He was begging me for a while, and I kind of turned him down a lot.
I do a lot of begging people
just
to
because
join.
I didn't think I had enough time to commit at the level that you needed that commitment. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to make sure if I was going to go in this with you that I was going to be able to commit as much time as what was needed. So I didn't want to half butt anything.
Half butt. Good save there.
Half butt.
Yeah,
Oh, don't
that's
worry.
half
I'm
butt.
the TOS king. You know that.
Yeah, I know. You said a bad word. You said crappy poo
Bad
poo.
word, demonetized. You're
jeez.
banned. You're gone. But anyways, Mike, that's how it pretty much started. Is we've been talking about it back and forth for a little while now. It just came to fruit to what you've seen it today within the last month or so.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Nice.
No, I really,
Fresh.
I appreciate that. I appreciate the backgrounds for everybody. And I think long term, if anyone's coming over here new and they want to check out the older episodes, it's going to be great because I know in other podcasts I listen to,
Absolutely.
I love learning about the humans because that's usually the reason people stick around is
Yeah.
for the humans doing the
Yeah, they want
podcasts.
to know the people
Relationship
behind the
development.
camera.
I mean, we're not playing
Yeah.
secret games. We're all playing the same games here. Every
I wanna
podcast.
get-
Just
I
who
wanna
do you
get to
like
the
hearing about
point-
it?
I want to get to the point where there's some creepy people trying to find where I live. And
Okay, I
stalk
don't know if I
me.
wanted
That's-
that.
Oh wait.
So if
you haven't had
anyone's
that yet?
looking,
No?
Wait a minute.
Mike's nerve cade is located.
He wants a stalker.
I've never heard that
The
before
only
in
one
my
of those
life.
I have is Kevin, and it's old news at this point.
Yeah, I know. Guys, just look at his basement. He's got a cage in the background. Like, what kind of things do you think he's got going on there?
It's for that. It's for the cat with the cone. I
Cat,
he
swear,
says.
guys.
He
the
says
cat
cat.
wink.
See him sitting over in the
But-
corner there.
Well,
This is just a guy in the back
for the
shaking. Let me
cat.
out.
You see little hands popping out of the side. Those aren't paws. Wait a minute. I
Fingers.
know a hand.
He tries to tell you that that's Mike's nerd cave, but there's another level down. That's the cave.
There's a trapdoor underneath the couch.
Yeah.
This is Mike's nerd cage, actually.
Yeah. Right.
there.
Oh jeez. Oh jeez.
All right. Before we get to the topics that we keep like hinting at over and over, let's talk about just what we played gaming wise. I know we kind of started and got off topic, but I have like quick few things that I'm just going to throw out there. I didn't get to play Destiny. I know we had so much love and positive feedback last
we
week
had
and
a
all
lot
the
of fun.
Destiny talk.
Shame on you.
So it'd be
It's
such a
not
shame
that
not to
bad.
play.
I have played it before. I don't want to spend all this time on Destiny again, but I think that you'll appreciate it for what it is. And I'll just say that.
Okay.
I don't think it's a terrible game. I just think it's run its course. And that's all I'm going to say about
Okay.
it. That's it.
Well,
That's
I will say that I did say I would try to play it, and I completely underestimated how long it takes to install and get it going and download it. So it might be another week or two before I finally get it all ready and then actually play it. But I will. I will get there.
What platform?
I'm playing on PS5.
Definitely. Oh, wow. I was just going to say definitely PC, and here you go.
Oh, see, well, I started it on PS5 because I started on PS4 because I bought the PS4 Pro Destiny, whatever edition, when it came out. So I just have always stuck with the PS5 version. And then I played PC for a little bit when it was part of Battle.net, and they were really pushing it there. But PS5 is just where I'd rather play. So I'll get back on that, and I will. There were a lot of haters on Destiny.
I don't think you're
it
going to
is
hate
one
it.
of
I'll just say
the-
that. I don't think it's that bad.
It's one of the few games on PS5 that actually does run at the 4K 120 FPS.
There we go.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
Perfect.
That's
Take
that's
advantage.
a big thing. I mean,
Yeah.
We'll see on there. So I'll get back to that. A couple weeks probably. I did buy a new game. I did start pre-ordering some stuff because there's a lot of crazy games coming out. I finally Breath of the Wild sequel. I did pre-order it because I'm still playing through Breath of the Wild. I am continuing to like that game better and better every time I play it. I've always said I do not like it, and I was disappointed by it, but I think I've moved on past that now that I've gotten into it more, and I actually am enjoying quite a bit. So
It's just the weapons breaking.
that
That's the
I
only
still
reason.
don't like that part, but
I love it.
but
I
other
love
than
it.
that, I still really
it was
enjoy it.
game of the year in 2017.
Yeah.
So
I hope they do
Fantastic
add
game.
a way to repair weapons for the people who don't like it.
That would be nice.
But I gotta say, I loved it because I loved that it forced me to try new weapons.
I
just find one
appreciate
weapon and
that.
use it constantly.
I like that a lot, but I should be able to get more than 3 hits on some weapons. Like, give me like like
oh yeah,
That is
15
kinda rough.
hits. Like
It's
they
like
break
whack, whack,
way too
kink.
quick.
That's it.
I'll pick up
You
a
just gotta-
sword and it's like you hit it 3 times and it's already like warning, it's about to break. I'm like, I
You gotta
just
use
got
that
it.
to your advantage. You get the warning, then you line it
Ugh.
up, throw it at someone, you get a 4x damage buff.
Yeah,
and boom.
I had been doing that a little bit, but I need to do that more because I always forget. And I just
The-
started learning how to increase my inventory, which has helped a lot because that was a problem I
Oh,
didn't know
Wait,
about.
you weren't giving the little poops to the
Nope,
big
I was
tree?
not. So I literally been just hunting the little poops for the last like 4 days, which has been kind of enjoyable.
Classic poop.
Okay,
line.
so for somebody who hasn't played Breath of
Right,
the Wild,
what
what
are
the
these
heck
little
are you
poops?
talking about?
Gabe's over here like, what are these poops? I don't.
You
I
should
don't
go play it.
understand.
You got to go play it. It is pretty good.
I don't have a Switch.
Wait,
I threw
I
mine
thought
in
you
the toilet.
did. Dan
Oh,
literally.
Yeah, no, my wife has a Switch.
Literally.
That's
You have-
her Switch, though.
Oh,
Do
she's
you
not
have a
gonna let you borrow
mediocre
it.
PC?
I don't know.
Do you
What
have
about a Wii
gaming
U?
PC?
Okay, I used to have a Switch. I bought one off of a friend who was selling it. He was giving me a great deal on it. I was like, okay, sure, I'll buy it. Mainly because I wanted to play Warframe mobile, but Warframe is horrible to play on the Switch. I don't know if some people have a better time than me, but it was bad. So I traded it when I got my PS5.
Do you have a PC? Like a
Yes.
gaming PC?
Not gaming, it's decent.
Like GPU? Do you know what graphics card do you have?
I think it's
He's rocking that 950 or
RTX
something.
680.
Oh, an RX.
Oh, it's low end. It's low end. I don't do a lot of gaming on the PC.
Maybe RX 580. AMD. I'm guessing.
It's possible.
Yeah, it sounds like an
Yeah,
AMD
that would
card.
be.
Here, I'm
it's
gonna help
probably
you.
an RX.
Just go buy a Switch. You can
RX
get a
580.
Switch
Well,
Lite for like 150
Just
bucks.
go buy a Switch. Just
Well,
go
what I
buy
was gonna
one.
say is you might enjoy. So you can get the like Yuzu emulator. I know they're taboo on the internet sometimes. And then
True.
find a way to legally put Zelda Breath of the Wild on the Yuzu emulator. If you do have an RX 580, those AMD cards running with Vulkan in the background,
Mhm.
to push the emulator, actually run it very well. You can play at 1080p, 60 FPS, which is much better than you can play it on the Switch on your computer with some extra graphics mods to make it.
But
look
it's
even
not
nicer.
mobile, and that's the best part because
Um,
I love collecting the
yeah.
poops while I'm laying on my couch in a different
Collecting
room
the poops.
without the TV.
But
Now you
it's
can
honestly-
emulate and collect the poops on your PC.
Yeah,
It's the game that
What's
got me
happening
back
here?
into
poop
gaming
collection.
heavily.
Oh,
So.
gaming heavily.
Yes, your poop collection.
And into collecting.
Let's talk about
poop,
that.
Yep.
All right. So, anyways, back to that. Been playing it, enjoying it. The game that I did purchase was the Harry Potter Lego collection on the Switch. I don't know if anyone's looked at the store, but the full collection of all the Harry Potter Lego games was $10. It was $9.99.
The full
And-
collection.
Yeah. It's I think years 1 through 4, and then the last set of whatever years are left. And that's a game I kind of wanted to pick up because I know my wife likes Harry Potter and the Lego games, and it's easy for us to play. And with the new Harry Potter game coming out, or Hogwarts game in the Harry Potter world, I thought it'd be fun to kind of play that a little bit and kind of get into the mood. But for $10, I felt like I couldn't lose, so it was a pretty damn good price. And then gaming wise, I've actually been playing outside of Breath of the Wild. I'm still playing Dragon Quest Treasures, which I kind of like it, kind of don't. I got it from GameFly, and I'm like, do I just send this back and call it quits, or do I like try to get through it and finish it? But it's taking me so long. I'm paying like almost full price for the game anyways, just the rental price. So
And that's just for the Switch, right?
which one?
Yep. And
It's
PC.
Dragon Quest Treasures.
Switch and PC.
Is
Yeah,
it?
he's right. I have no
Yeah,
idea.
it's
I didn't
PC.
even look.
I know it's on PC because it's been on the Steam banner for like it was on there for like 2 weeks straight.
It's an okay game.
Mm-hmm.
This is in the wrong. Let me look.
It's,
Yeah, that's. I'm trying to think if there was something else I wrote down here, but I don't know. That was it. That was me. So who wants to go next?
That's everybody, I think, isn't it?
Did we all talk about our
haven't,
gaming already?
Talked about what I played this week.
Yeah.
All right, so that's everybody. Let's move past Gabe. I don't
Or
care.
no. Okay.
So glad I'm
We don't
here.
care what you played, actually.
Wait, quick, fire it off, Gabe. What did you play and what did you think about it?
Okay, so I actually just yesterday I checked out Hi-Fi Rush because we were talking about it last week, and everybody told me I had to play it.
Woohoo!
So
Oh, my
I
friend there.
got on Game Pass because it's only $1 for the.
Woohoo!
Why not? So I started playing it, and this is just an opinion. It was a little rough for me.
Uh-oh.
It's very comic book-ish. It's super animated. And that music is just not my style. That constantly plays over and over. and
Rhythm
over.
games aren't for
The
everybody.
rhythm, it's not the rhythm game now, because I'm gonna get to that, because I played a second game that was. Hi-Fi Rush just didn't have, I guess, the right style of music for me. I could play it, but I feel like
Fair.
Hi-Fi definitely geared towards a younger audience, maybe like somebody 12, 13, 14 years old.
Hey, what are you trying to
Um,
say about Mike then? What do you?
I'm gonna. we'll
He's
get into that
13
in the
years
later
You
old.
need the, you
topics,
need the
but-
mentality of
playing
a
SpongeBob,
5-year-old
too.
to play
Oh,
this
we'll
game.
get into that actually in the later topic as well because I agree that it's good for them. I heavily disagree with that's where it's aimed. But
Okay.
we'll talk about why.
I didn't get very far, so
Yeah.
that might be part of it. I played through at least through the tutorial so that I wasn't getting tutorial left and right. But after I got done playing that, as soon as I closed the game out, Metal Hellsinger showed up recommended.
That's a good game too.
So I went and downloaded that one and started playing it. I could play that one for sure.
That is a fun game, actually.
That one, it's not necessarily the rhythm game. Definitely, I liked Metal Hellsinger way better than Hi-Fi Rush, which in terms is technically the same game, only this one's a shooter. But you get like all different kinds of guns, and I guess it's a little bit more fast-paced. I definitely enjoy that more than Hi-Fi Rush, but that's if you add Doom.
Does it give you
and
those Doom
Hi-Fi
vibes?
Rush, absolutely
know?
Doom vibes. But
Like-
the way you play, like as you're playing, you have hit multiplier, I guess, and it goes all the way up to it multiplies by 16. If you get it all the way up there, it actually changes the vibe of the music. So like,
are you on PC or Xbox with this?
I'm on Xbox with this one. So as your hit multiplier increases, the music actually gets better. Like, they add more instruments, and then when you get up to 16, they add vocals. Actually, really, really cool, and it really encourages you to play to the beat a lot more than I feel like than Hi-Fi Rush did.
Yeah, I heard Hi-Fi, and I didn't play this, so maybe Mike, you can say more. But I heard you can cheat it a little bit more in some of the other rhythm type games like that.
That's what I heard too.
It is a little bit more accessible. There's also 4 difficulty levels. You can play the hardest difficulty, and then it's much harder to cheat it.
Okay.
Cheese it or whatever. But if you just play the regular or the easy difficulty, no matter what, on all of them, when you first attack, it essentially resets the beat to your first attack. So that way you just have to be on beat after that.
Okay.
But if your first attack lines up with the actual beat, same thing. The music increases a little bit. You hear some cheering in the background. You get a guitar riff. If you are consistently on beat in that game, the same thing happens. More instruments come in. It picks up a little
builds
bit. But the bass song in the game, I can see how if it's not your vibe, it could get old. I do think for the boss battles and stuff, some of the music is exceptional. I know with like 9 Inch Nails, the Black Keys, like some really well-known bands. And this was do you guys mind if we just transition? Actually, it was going to be the second topic, but we transition kind of into how these games get reviewed because we keep going back to it.
We keep like touching on it little by little by little.
Because these are like
it's hard not to touch on that topic.
Right. I mean, these are like the AA type games. I'm just going to kind of give my opinion on it, and that you talked about what audience you think they're targeting that game at. Because it's bright, colorful, and can be played simple, you're thinking maybe it was targeted at a younger audience. And I don't disagree that a younger audience would like it, but they have a lot of references. I mean, the main antagonist, the island, is like Vanderlei Technologies or whatever. That's a Seinfeld reference.
Really?
So
Oh,
George
yeah,
George
100%.
Costanza reference. So people who get that joke aren't going to be children. Again, MP3 player being like the main thing. The whole vibe of the animation and the way he's dressed
True.
is very like 90s, early 2000s. The MP3 player fits right into that as well. Even the artists, 9 Inch Nails and Black Keys being, I think, the 2 big headliners, are that late 90s, early 2000s. And I think that's kind of the audience they're trying to draw in with nostalgia for playing the I think the animation actually reminds me a lot of Sly Cooper, and I think that
for sure.
trying to draw in that audience that played a lot of maybe the PlayStation 2 platformer story-based games. Again, I know a lot of people call out like Jet Set Radio, which is another great game.
Sure.
So yeah, I think they want to bring in a new audience, so the younger kids who are going to probably just jump in, enjoy it, maybe like the music, things like that. But they're also trying to bring in that old audience that are maybe in their 30s right now that are going to have the nostalgia for it, and not everyone's going to love it. Like for you, for instance, you've grown past that. You don't have the nostalgia for it, so you're just like, it's not for me. But for someone like me who does have the nostalgia for it, all of those little details are awesome. I love the references to the late 90s, early 2000s. So I appreciate those little details.
Exactly. And like I was saying, it's not that it was a bad game. It's just not for me.
Right. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And I don't know if anyone wants to, if anyone else has an example of maybe a game they play, or maybe a AA or like indie title that they think, isn't necessarily for everyone and maybe gets beat on in the reviews because of that, but they play. I don't know if anyone else in the group had a reference for that, because I have one other with SpongeBob I was going to talk about.
100%. Most of the games that I play are either early access games. Well, there goes Dr. Disrespect.
It's like, what's going on?
No, Dr. D.
Early access games or indie games, and what we were just talking about. They don't get a lot of love. But some of my favorite survival games are either AA, as you would call it, or indie. Like Icarus is one. That's a fantastic survival game. It had a terrible launch, terrible release into early access. They had all sorts of stuff, mission timers where it was persistent. So like if you started a mission, the timer was always going. So if you went on vacation, your character would die. And you'd lose all your
sounds
stuff.
miserable,
right? Yeah, and then a survival
cheating.
game, yeah, people were pissed. So they removed that. They did a lot of quality of life stuff, and it's actually one of the best, in my opinion, one of the best survival games out there that you can play right now.
How are the reviews in the game now? Now that they've kind of fixed a lot of the stuff.
Well, there's only like 20 people playing it now.
Oh, that's
Never mind.
That's
Okay, so that one didn't go too far.
No, we're gonna. This is what the podcast is for. I'm raising awareness.
Right.
We have a sponsor.
Awareness.
Cue the video.
I will remember you. Oh, it's not a.
That's it. The Forest was another one that it didn't start off strong, but still to this day is one of the most played survival games out there. And Sons of the Forest is coming out actually this month, which I'm super excited about. Not to get too off topic, but that's just two examples that I can think of that really didn't get the reviews that I think deserved. I think it was a better game than what they basically crapped all over it. And I don't think there was a reason for it. I get we talked about the persistent timer thing with Icarus being a flaw. But I don't think to poop on a game before you give it a real chance is fair.
Yeah.
And I definitely think they are biased towards AAA companies.
I think there needs to be a baseline for the type of game it is. So if you're reviewing a AAA game, it should be categorized and held up against other AAA games. And then a AA game should be held up standards against, because it's a good point for the games you guys have mentioned so far that they do this. And my example that I think of a lot when I think of these games is Elix, and I'm a big like I fight for this game to say how good it is, but there's definitely the issues with it. But from a small company or smaller company with a smaller budget and a smaller overall team, they still made this incredible game. But if you compare it, a AA game of that magnitude against another AAA game with the same magnitude, you're not comparing the same type of thing. And Elix is always going to score worse because it's never going to be as good as Skyrim. It's never going to be that because they don't have the money, the budget, the time, the people. But the game they did make is still really, really good if you just change your expectations and what you expect. Like
absolutely.
And like Elix 2 came out, which it reviewed pretty poorly again, but it was still just better than the first one and more of it, and I loved it. But
and I think an important part is, did they deliver the game they said they were going to deliver?
And I think so.
And was it all there on release date? And I think so many of these types of games, maybe not the like early access survival games as much fall into that category, but so many of the indie and AA titles, they get absolutely like crapped on in reviews, are exactly what they say they are. And they're there on day one, and they're not trying to be something more, but they'll get crapped on for, like, people will be like, oh, it didn't have this in it, 4 out of 10. It was disappointing because XYZ, 4 out of 10. But it didn't promise any of those things.
Yeah.
And then a AAA title will come out, half-baked, but because it's like a big name, Halo Infinite, I'm looking at you.
Yeah.
You get a freaking 87 without all of the content. Co-op, it took them over a year to put freaking campaign.
They paid for that 87.
Right, like
just doesn't add up.
That's what I'm saying. It's biased.
And I enjoyed
it
the
has
game.
To be.
I enjoyed
Absolutely.
the game.
There's a lot on that. I think a lot of it has with comparison, like on both ends, the higher ends getting overly inflated ratings because they're AAA, and the lower end stuff basically being shafted because they are a AA. Like it's.
But like Mike was saying, they're releasing at least a finished product.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, all of us in this room right now can count on our hands and all of our toes on the games.
I think it's two different issues. Like in the low end, the one I was explaining is the issue is it's like all right, Dan, you take your son to his school and he's got an art gallery and you look at his art he made and he's showing you and you're like, that sucks. That's not Picasso. Picasso's way better. Like
that sucks.
Like you have to like compare it to other people that his age group of what he does, and that's the standard you give him. You would say that looks great.
Yeah.
But there's obviously better art out there. But you don't give him a F- because he doesn't have amazing art that's in museums. And then on the other side of things, which Mike you're talking about, is the stuff that's bigger and better. They can get away with whatever they want because they have tons of money and all this, and they don't even have to put out a bad product, and they're still going to review pretty well just because of it. Sometimes, not every time. But like Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, like we had an article on our site talking about it wasn't as bad as it was, but depending who you talk to, that might be thrown one way or the other and saying that this really is bad. And they did make a game that was pretty sloppy. Like I witnessed a lot of that firsthand, but it's still
for how long it was in development. I think it was super sloppy. I don't think that should have been.
But it's still reviewed decently well, and it still sold like hotcakes. So it
did.
They got away with it, but
because it's Pokemon.
Yeah, that
people are gonna buy it regardless of what comes out. It's got Pokemon's
right.
Name
That's
on
what
it.
I'm saying.
It's
is that
gonna sell.
That AAA like comparison against things, it's just gonna get inflated because it has money and a name behind it.
Absolutely.
So
I
it's a weird double standard almost.
I'll admit I loved the new Pokemon games when it comes to the concept of what they were trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's held together with freaking paper clips at the seams. It shouldn't have reviewed.
It seems like it.
Just like Dan's son's project at school.
Shouldn't have reviewed as well as it did.
Come on, he's not even here to defend himself.
I know, poor guy.
I'm gonna go grab a picture right now. You're gonna be impressed.
He actually is a Picasso.
Yeah,
I made a point next week to put down the Pokemon game until.
Me too.
They said there's an update coming at the end of February, and I'm hoping that fixes it because it just got painful to play.
I agree.
Was Pokemon messy, YOLO Dur? If I throw a Pokeball to catch a Pokemon, it goes right through the ground into the landscape. That's bad.
I got stuck on a wall twice. I got into a cave, and there was something I was supposed to pick up. It wouldn't let me pick it up, and it went through a cave. He's also saying in the chat now, Arceus is messy. Arceus was a little messy. But I never it was not game breaking messy. Like I experienced 3 back to back game breaking bugs where I had to stop the game. I even took it out of dock mode and played handheld to see if that would help, and it didn't. So
and it was such a big deal that Nintendo had to make a statement saying that it is not the Switch.
Yeah,
It's not the hardware. It's a software issue. And I've told this to people before, and I'll say it again. I think it's the engine. I think their engine is old. They've been using the same engine for years now, and it doesn't perform the way they want it to with their open world concept. I commend them for trying this open world stuff with Scarlet and Violet, but I think they need to update their software.
Yeah, it's the same engine they've been on since X and Y.
Right. I mean, how can you expect a game of that magnitude, right, to perform well using that software? You can't, or that engine. You just can't do it.
Well,
so,
how long have they been using the engine? The same engine, anyways.
X and Y was 2012 or 13, 2013. So 10 years.
Time to update.
So 10 years, right?
It leads into what we're all talking about, though. Like, why do they need to if it's still going to sell? It's a AAA title. They don't really need to put the effort into it. They can half cook the product and sell to us, and we're all still buying it.
Isn't that a huge? That's a problem, though. That's such a huge problem.
It is a huge problem.
Like I said, we all could count on all of our fingers, all of our toes, and have your wife count on all of hers and all the games that have been released or delayed. Now look at all the games that are delayed this year, right? It's insane.
Finished when they do come out. I think
and then they're still unfinished. Like you just said, they delay them for 6 months and then they still come out unfinished. Right?
Yeah,
and the unfinished part is pretty painful because especially if you're someone who buys games physically, because now you don't have the full game. You still have to rely on a download that could go away in the future. A back end that might not be there to support the updates in a fully fixed game 10 years down the road. And that's frustrating as a consumer that you're not necessarily buying something to keep, but you're buying something temporarily, something that may not work on a device you have in the future, things like that. The digital thing's getting a little scary, especially with the fact that they take advantage of it and put out unfinished products.
Yeah,
Sad.
I'm scared for
good.
Hogwarts Legacy. I'm going to be completely honest.
Well, that's a perfect segue because that's what I was going to talk about next. So
Yeah.
I hinted at the beginning of the show, big release coming out this week, and
I
depending.
don't know of any big releases.
Well,
What are you talking about?
I already said it. It's
I can't think of
Advanced
anything.
Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp.
well,
that was
outside
it.
of that game, that's not even officially announced. Depending on what type of pre-order you have of the game, it depends on when you get to play it. I have I think I'm the whatever the $100 US $100 version is.
The regular deluxe.
Is that the
edition,
regular
I think.
deluxe? Okay,
It's the current gen deluxe.
That's the one you can still play early, though. I
Yeah.
think.
Yep.
So
yeah, it means
I
that you bought it for the newer consoles.
yes, that one. 'Cause I bought it for
and
PS5
deluxe. Yep.
and I can play on I think Tuesday is when I get to start playing. Which
Oh, wow.
I didn't realize because I didn't get how it would work because I was like, well, do I get like a download code to get it early? Because I thought the physical copy wouldn't ship early, but the physical copy is actually shipping early to me. So I got my notification from Best Buy saying I should get it on Tuesday. So
That's awesome.
They're gonna mess that up. And
I
a lot
know.
of people are gonna get the regular edition early, which I mean, more power to the people who get it early.
I'm not
think
sure
this-
which one I'm gonna get. That's one of my worries because I pre-ordered the original one, like the standard edition, and like months ago when they had it posted, and then the digital one or the deluxe one was posted, so I wanted to pre-order that one to get it early. So I don't know what's gonna show up. I canceled it. Best Buy does tend to screw up sometimes. Sometimes they send stuff early though, so if I get it maybe Monday, I won't complain. But
Oh, jeez.
is anybody
So-
else here excited for Harry Potter? Hogwarts. Like I always say Harry Potter, but it's not Harry Potter. It's Hogwarts Legacy.
Hogwarts Legacy.
I think-
Yeah, I'm gonna get a copy of it. I'm for sure gonna play it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think I'm excited for it. I'm gonna go. I know Mike said he's excited, but he's leery, right?
Yep.
I'm gonna say, and I'm gonna be quoted because this is live and recorded. I think that the release is gonna go well, and I think the game is gonna be good. I think that this is gonna be one of the
Really?
releases this year. I will put money on it that they are going to have a successful launch. It's one of the most pre-ordered games of all time.
Oh, wow.
I don't think it's overhyped. I do think it's going to be a great game, and I'll say this first too. I think it's going to be a strong contender based on other releases happening this year of Game of the Year. I know
Wow.
those are big. Those
Oh.
are big statements. But I think
I could
that
see
they
it.
have a really good shot
Really?
of doing that.
Well, if someone
So-
wants to find out but hasn't bothered to pre-order yet because they're scared,
Right.
likely, the review embargo lifts tomorrow morning.
Oh, it does.
So reviews will
Ooh.
be out tomorrow morning,
Okay.
and anyone who was nervous about it will hopefully.
God.
This will go back into: is it going to get reviewed better than it actually is because it's a AAA title, or is it going to get absolutely smashed in the reviews because of other drama surrounding the game, or because maybe there's a couple things wrong and people are getting fed up with games not coming out or coming out unfinished or unoptimized?
I think
Or
they've been
is it just going to be a
honest.
good game?
I think they've been
I'm
honest,
hoping it
Mike,
is.
so far on what's going to be released too. There's
Yep.
not going to be any multiplayer. We already know that. So the people
Right.
that are going to complain about that, because I think that's going to be a negative, right? And we talked about being unbiased when you go into reviews. If a game is
Right.
honest about the content that they're dropping,
Right.
you can't go into that saying, well, this would have been so much better if it had multiplayer, so I'm going to give it an 8. That's
Right.
unfair. You need to.
You just know people are gonna do it though.
Right. No,
Mhm.
yeah. And you need to review this game and give it a score based on them being honest about what they are releasing, and
Absolutely.
if they released that content to you that they said was going to be released, right?
I am
Not
sure,
this speculation stuff.
and I'm sure there will be at least some reviews or review bombing, whether or not, probably not by critics. There might be one
I'm
or two
sure.
critics that mix it in,
I'm sure.
but there will be review bombing based on the drama around the game as well. So we could see a low user score for a little while
Mm-hmm.
because there's so much drama
Hate.
surrounding this release. Yeah.
There's a lot of drama. I don't really want to go into it. I think it's
Nope.
a TOS issue on Twitch at the moment. So
Yeah.
we'll just say there is drama. We all know what drama it is.
Mhm.
You can look it up on Google. There's
you
a
can
lot
look it
of
up
people on
yourselves.
YouTube.
Well, here's
Yep.
some
Yeah.
different. I don't know if this is drama, but interesting fact. Like if you go back and look at what this development studio, Avalanche, has made, I'm like, okay, what else have they made? Because I don't really know much about them. The last game that they made in 2017 was Cars 3, based on the Disney movie.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
They don't
ouch,
have a
that's
huge
not.
pedigree.
Yeah,
It's
and
not
then
a good track record to follow, right?
but then right
But-
before that was Disney Infinity, which
Right.
is like,
Ooh.
oh,
That was
like a
back in
15.
2015.
When
yeah.
that was 3.0. So they did 2014 was 2.0, Disney Infinity in 2013. And
So
those
like
were
we talked
fun,
about
but
you got to go into it unbiased, right? So
oh
treat it like,
hold on, wait. They made the Rugrats in
Uh-oh.
Paris the movie in 2000. We're good. That was a fun game.
So
I played the hell out of that.
Still, I mean, we'll take, okay, I don't want to talk about these guys for too long because I think it's garbage, but the day before, right? We've all heard about the day before on the news. It's been on, are they fake? Are they real? Is this a game that's coming out, anytime this century? You can base that off of the previous games too, right? Like kind of like what you're doing with Avalanche Software. And I don't want people to do that. I want them to treat, don't base off of Disney Infinity. Don't base it off of Cars. I've never played
Absolutely.
either of those, but give them a chance
Disney
and
Infinity's good.
play the game first, and then see if you like it.
Mhm.
No, I completely agree. I'm fingers crossed. I'm hoping that this is gonna like absolutely blow everyone away. It's gonna be what they promised, and they've been, like you said, they've been very transparent about what it is, the gameplay, and they've shown a lot of gameplay for this game.
A lot for a
Mhm.
pre-release,
And the
a lot of
gameplay
footage.
has all looked good. There's been times where it looks buggy back a year or two ago when they first started showing it. But that's awesome. I
Absolutely.
love that they showed the gameplay back then that looked buggy so we can see it progress as it got closer to the release and as they delayed it and everything. So hopefully it leads to a great finished product. I think they know they needed to hit this one out of the park because of what it is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
look at the title around it. Look at all the, again, we can't talk about what was going on with the drama, but look at
Right.
all that news that they get. Look at all that feedback that they have driving now. So that was something that they didn't plan, right? So it's like now we get all this. You're trending on Twitter for the right or wrong reasons. Again, you can go look it up yourself. It's crazy the amount of hype that's attached to it. You can't really go into. I'm pretty sure every gamer out there knows that this game's coming out this year.
I think
and knows the hype around it.
I think the hype's scary sometimes because if you get too much hype and like overhype stuff, and that can happen organically or from just over marketing it. Like I think they're doing a good job trying to keep expectations in line for what they're actually going to be like putting out there versus like Cyberpunk where they overcommitted and oversold the game and the marketing made it seem like it was something way more than what was coming. Like I feel like they've held back a little bit because obviously the public and the gamers and the people that want this want it to be everything it can be and more. And they've been kind of like,
Yeah.
okay, this is our game. This is what you can do. They've been pretty, like you said, transparent.
Right.
There's not multiplayer. You can't do this, this, and this, but this is what you can do. I'm hoping
Right.
that their transparency and all this and the videos we've seen and all that, I kind of hope it ties to be like, this is a good game that my expectations are not like this is the greatest game ever, but I have expectations thinking this will be a lot of fun with some creativity and in a world that I enjoy. So
That's
I
fair.
also think that a big thing is going to be like for the lore gurus, the ones that have studied the world of Harry Potter.
there's plenty of
Not-
those people.
I definitely know some people that aren't even gamers. Personally know them that don't game. They don't play games at all, but they saw that this one was coming. Play it just because they're huge Harry Potter fans. So I think that this is going to pull people into the gaming as well, not just gamers that exist that enjoy Harry Potter, but people that read through the books, have read all the books, all the extra stuff, and just been in the lore for years as it's come out. They're kind of wanting to see another chapter, I guess you could say, because in the book world there hasn't been anything on this era. So
Mhm.
I feel like there's going to be a lot of new gamers in on this. But as far as the lack of multiplayer goes, I think there'll be a lot of people that
And that's something
won't be
new.
playing it as well.
That's
Yeah.
something new, Gabe, too, because if you think about it, you go back and you say there's a bunch of Marvel games out there. There's a bunch of DC games out there. The people that watched Marvel movies, right, and DC movies didn't go out and buy a PC to go play the video games.
Right.
No.
So this is one of the first titles that I know of. I've played Lord of the Rings games too. They didn't draw in any people. This is one of the first times where I've seen that too firsthand, where the Harry Potter fans are going to buy this game.
Yeah.
So
I would argue against that a little bit though, Dan, what you said. I will say, like, I do know people that are Marvel fans for the Spider-Man game that came out. I don't think initially they were as excited as this build up, but I think down the line they became more excited as the game was out longer, that bought PS4s to play it. I think this game is a little stronger though, with people actually going out and buying a system to play this game, or not a gamer at all and getting involved, because for whatever reason, I think the Harry Potter fans in that universe are just like, to them it's like a whole lifestyle. Like it's
right, and
it's
I'm not
absolutely
one of them either.
Yeah,
so
I'm not one of them.
I can't relate to that.
I
do like Harry Potter.
So do I, and I'm not a huge
um,
fan, but I'm excited. Like, I think wizardry is cool, and like I like magic and all that. So
Right, and they're itching for more lore. Like, you look at Marvel, you
Right.
look at Star Wars,
Yeah.
those things. Disney is beating them to death with the amount of shows, movies, everything they're putting out.
yeah,
I can agree with that.
I don't think people need to go out and get a video game for Marvel. They have enough lore coming in, just that they don't need it. Harry Potter, besides the Fantastic Beasts movies, which are hit and miss for people, there isn't any really new lore coming in. People are hunting for it. The people are making podcasts and YouTube channels to create their own lore about this.
Yeah.
So now they have a place where they're going to be able to go create themselves in a game, as well as get more lore around
in a world that they're
Hogwarts.
super familiar with. You know,
And fresh new content.
yeah, I think that's awesome.
So
I think they really have a home run here.
yeah, it's man. If it reviews well tomorrow,
Yeah, well, I'll have to watch for it.
There's chance.
What time is what time is the
7 in
embargo?
morning, I believe, for Eastern.
Eastern. Okay, so I'll wake up and start seeing this. All right, I'm pretty pumped for that.
Excited for it.
This will be a discussion in dotSlashGaming Discord, I believe.
Yeah, so join that discussion. I'm
Yeah,
Sure
if you guys haven't, I'll plug it again.
in my
haven't joined it.
mind, I picture it being a game that's similar to like the Shadow of War and the what's it called? What was the first one? The Mordor game. I can't think of it.
Shadow of Mordor.
Is that what it's called? Shadow of
Yeah, it's
Mordor
just
and
called
Shadow
that.
of
Yeah,
War is
'cause
the second one,
Shadow
right?
of War was
Yeah,
the
and
second.
Shadow of
Okay,
right,
I
right.
pictured those, like, I really enjoyed those games. They weren't like life changing, but I spent tons of time in them. There were a lot of things. It was a great open world. I had a lot of fun playing it. If I can have that level of an experience within the Harry Potter Hogwarts world, I think I'm in.
I agree.
Last part about this. Did you guys all go on the Wizarding? What is it? Wizarding World or
I
something?
know yeah, the Wizarding World website.
Something like-
I know what you mean. I personally haven't. I don't know if either of you guys did.
I just did it
It's
today.
still like you can
No.
essentially figure out what
House you belong into and all
house
that.
you belong
House,
in,
yeah, you can get
yeah.
sorted, right?
Yep.
We got to use the right terms, or else we're gonna
Yeah.
Yeah.
That doesn't
nailed.
have any coinciding with the game when it's released, does it?
No, it does. It ties into it.
Sorted, which I want to
Really?
do the game to do it. So that's why.
So
And
you
I
can
heard that
actually
you-
go on the
you can't
website and
change
get
that either.
sorted
Yeah.
ahead of
Once-
time, and it feeds into the game once you get it.
Yes, I don't
Right.
know how it all works, but that's right. You
Well, they were
should-
transparent about that. They said that you cannot change your house after you've been sorted. That's not a feature in the game.
Yep.
Oh,
So,
okay.
So
once you're-
replayability, you
once
got to
you're
make some new
sorted,
characters.
That's it.
Yeah.
So I got some
Absolutely.
spoilers here. I got sorted today. I
Uh-oh.
got sorted as a Hufflepuff. I was like, okay, the name's
You
dumb,
seem like
but
a Hufflepuff.
I they said I was a Hufflepuff
He's like,
because I was
"Yeah."
caring, passionate, and loyal. And my Patronus, I think that's how you say it, is a Sparrowhawk
My
spirit
Patronus.
animal.
What is that? A song? My Patronus.
Patronus. Sounds like the Weird Al cover of it.
So what is your
Yeah.
what is your Patronus?
Is a Sparrowhawk.
Okay, interesting.
It says the Patronus turned. It was catering. No, that's not the part. That's just the thing. What does it say about you? There's all this stuff. Like there's so much depth
Yeah.
into it. I thought that was gonna be like an easy thing. Like what does it say? It's like your horoscope or something. Oh, here it is. Let me see.
You will die in 7 days. No, it's not one of those.
Did
Yeah.
just double check. It is 7. It doesn't say AM or PM, but usually it's the morning. So 7 a.m.
I would imagine it's
tomorrow.
going to.
I think they're going to correlate that with the next fest. I would say
Maybe. Well, which is perfect
next
because
fest starts at
that's the
about
next
1,
topic.
so they want to do it. They want to do it before that.
So Dan, do you want to quick give us a rundown of what the next fest is you're talking about?
It's just this thing that comes out.
It's just a thing.
You want to tell us
No,
about that next thing?
It's Steam Next Fest for everybody that doesn't play indie games. Is when indie devs come together and they release a bunch of demos. So there's going to be hundreds of demos that are released tomorrow. So if you're following any indie games, I'm following one called Broken Arrow. We've talked about it earlier. It's a modern RTS, right? They're releasing a demo tomorrow. I'm going to be streaming that tomorrow, hopefully.
Nice.
I'm going to try my hardest to do it. But yeah, it's basically a time where indie devs can show off what they've been working on. Anything that you guys have been following, I'm sure that they're going to be dropping a demo tomorrow. So if you're following any indie games, it starts at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 Pacific, and it goes all week. So it runs for a week. And I think they're going to have a press release, an official press release about what demos. Because if you're not following any, then you probably don't even know what Steam Next Fest is. But they're going to have an official demo list for you to read tomorrow. So
and look forward to a couple articles that being posted of previews of some of those demos on dotSlashGaming.com because we're going to push to get some of those done to maybe grab some of the best ones that are out there. I know last summer, I think it might have been another event they did, but they've had a couple of these events on Steam, and there are some pretty meaty demos they put out there. I remember.
Yeah.
I think of what game it was I played last time that I really enjoyed. But
they had October. They had one as well.
Yeah, they do them every once in a while because they do like the summer one. They fall.
Right.
This is what, like late winter, springish, maybe. I don't know.
Something
next,
like that.
Just what's next, but
it's a really cool thing. And like I said, if you guys, it's totally free, right? Everybody likes free stuff. You get to play your favorite
somebody
game
will complain.
or somebody.
Somebody will
say,
say,
I wanted to pay $50 for this demo.
I don't want this demo.
And I want to use what this is, a spotlight on indie games, as kind of a quick thing I wanted to bring up because it tied into stuff you've been talking about the whole time. You like survival games. You like indie games.
Yep.
And I was thinking about something we could all do for the people who tune into these streams is maybe one night stream a game of Muck, if any of you guys have ever heard.
Oh, wow.
What is that?
Do you know what it is?
Yeah.
Dude, so it would be able to run on
it's
a
roguelike, a survival roguelike.
Yeah, it'd be able to run
How do you
on
spell
everyone's
that?
computer. M-U-C-K.
Just Muck. Like you got stuck in the muck and there's
but I did
leeches all over
M-U-K
you.
and I got Pokemon, so.
Oh yeah, no, M-U-C-K. It's on
I'm less
Steam.
excited now.
It's free to play.
It's
Looks
such a
kind of
fun game.
Minecrafty, but it's so much fun to play with a group of people.
It is fun. It's fun.
You can run through it. A successful run on easy, which is actually very hard to do. We haven't completed it yet because the larger the group, I think the harder it is to do because everything scales quicker.
Right.
Easier to beat with like 2 or 3 people. So if we did it with a big group, we'd run it on easy and we would probably die 2 or 3 times in 2 hours, and it would be.
I'm looking up images. What is this game?
It's free.
Oh boy! I will join because I will.
Is the developer, I believe.
Danny, yeah, Danny.
Yeah,
who's that?
That's the developer.
Yeah,
publisher
it's
of the
just
game.
Danny.
Yeah, but is that like a person, some guy or girl named Danny, or is that like a studio?
It's Danny.
I think
Just
it's
Danny.
I think it's just. I don't know. I don't know the developer personally.
Danny's got a new game coming out called Carlson. What do you get when you combine a first-person parkour slow-mo? You get Carlson. What?
Let's go. Yes.
Okay.
But no, yeah, it's a hilarious game.
Now we're
It's a game we
bashing
play-
Danny.
It's a game we play at LAN
Or Danny.
with a big group of people every time. We actually started this last LAN I was talking about in Buffalo. And I mean, it's just funny. It's fun to watch people play. It's funny to play and fun to play, and it's a quick one-time thing you can do on a stream or something and get some engagement, maybe even have some people from the Discord join in.
That would be
You
fun.
can have up to like 8 people play in a world at once.
Oh,
It's
that'd
just
be
something
cool.
silly and fun. You know.
I'm down for that.
I
It looks,
do.
It's
it looks
free.
pretty fun.
What
I
do we
like
say?
free.
Everybody likes
Free.
free stuff.
Free is
Yeah.
good.
We
If
did.
it's free, it's for me.
Oh, I like that. That's a good T-shirt remake.
Is that copyrighted? Wow, you're so
No.
smart. You just made that up.
You just
now.
made it up.
I totally made it up myself.
Wow. Anyways, so
Boy, did we get off
our
a little bit.
last
Sorry,
topic
I
of the
gotta-
evening, we had a little pre-show banter with all of us before we went live, and we all started talking about some of the games that are coming to a close this week. Some live service games
Unfortunately,
and a couple not live service games, but development ending on games that were continuously being worked on. And I
Or
tried
got
to.
on.
Yeah, well, I tried to get everyone to be quiet about it because I'm like, stop talking about this. We need to talk about this live.
Yeah.
So I know we've been all waiting to get
It's-
into this topic, but
important.
one of the games I'll talk about one, and then maybe we'll go around and talk about a few more of them. But the one that I originally knew was ending is Back for Blood, which is a game that came out in what was it, the end of 2021? We just looked this up and I forgot.
Yeah,
October of 21. And game came out. It was a Left 4 Dead spiritual successor, and
oof,
pretty good
you're gonna get
game.
nailed for that.
Pretty good game.
That is what it was.
That's
They
what it was
did
even like
was.
advertised as in a way. Like it
But
was a pretty.
Nothing's like Left 4 Dead. It hasn't been
No.
since Left 4 Dead.
That's because
2,
it was
you
a
know?
different world back then. We had lower expectations in general. If Left 4 Dead exactly came out tomorrow, you'd all bash it and say it was crap. Anyways, that's not the point of this. So, they, after the year and a half roughly of their development of adding stuff and giving free features and the development continuing, they finally announced that I think it's, when was it? Is it the end of this year or middle of this year? I remember reading it this morning and I forgot.
Yeah, it's I think maybe October this coming year.
I wanted to say
no,
September.
So for this game, yeah,
Is it September?
because it's just development ending.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it'll be-
all they said was, so you're still going to be able to play it. The servers are still going to be up, but they're not providing any more content. So,
Which-
in other words, it was the best $40 I ever spent.
Which is even better because I played it on Game Pass, so it was even better for me to do it.
And I don't.
Yeah, it was better for
think-
you.
I don't think it's a big deal. That
No, I don't
content
either.
On a game,
I don't
like
think
this
so either.
Is ending because at least they put out a pretty much finished product at the time. It was close, and they finished it. They
Yeah.
pushed it out the door. It's a $40 game. That what we talked about earlier. It's exactly what it was advertised as.
Yeah.
Maybe people
They didn't
weren't
try to
all-
say anything different, really.
Yeah, maybe not everyone was happy with it, but it's what it was advertised
Because they went in
as.
there with bigger expectations. They went
Mhm.
into Back for Blood thinking it was going to be the Left 4 Dead killer, right?
Yeah,
I'm so
they-
sick of hearing like killer, 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 this game's going to kill this game. Anytime I see that, it sucks. Anytime, every time. It's like, oh, this game's going to kill Halo. This game's going
Yeah.
to kill this or that.
But
and then the
people
game's
you're also
terrible.
comparing it, like the whole world of nostalgia is like a make-believe world where everybody wants it to be the way it used to be, but the world is a different place. It's not as fun as it was. Like if I gave
Right.
you 5, wooden blocks, you're not gonna have as much enjoyment now as you did when you were 3. Like it just,
Yeah.
the world is different for you. We've all grown up, technology's changed. So for a game to try to imitate an old game that everybody loved to come out in current modern time, I think they did a pretty good job trying to imitate it and do whatever. But the
Yeah.
point of the story is they're ending it, and my opinion is this is good because a game can't last forever. I think some games got legs, but not every game can have legs forever because they need to move
Right,
on to the next
yeah.
thing. Like they did a good job with this. Let's see what else they can do.
And
Well,
that's
that-
why they're ending it,
Destiny.
is to move on.
That goes into like even Destiny. You're gonna start playing Destiny, right? And I'm not gonna bash Destiny, but at what point do you stop, doing content for Destiny 2 and start working on Destiny 3? Or, enough is enough. You got how many DLC does Destiny have?
They're on like 7 or 8 now.
We just talked about how expensive it was to get into it. Like if they start fresh,
Right.
how much easier and accessible it would be.
Exactly.
Well, and they made everything up until Witch Queen free to
Yeah.
access now. So it's actually pretty cheap to get into until you get to the Witch Queen, which you have to pay for.
Which we went over this last week. I thought it was like a pretty big uphill like pricing of it, but
It was that it pissed a lot of people off
yeah.
when they made all the previous content free to get into.
And, I mean, but they do that. Games
because
do that. Warcraft did
they
that. I
do.
mean, They
Yeah,
used
it
to
pissed a lot of
charge
people
up
off 'cause
and-
it was like, I think it's like my buddy plays it and he quit the game for like a year after they did it because he was so ticked off because he's like, I've put like $600 into this game and
Yeah.
now someone can play all that same content for nothing.
Yeah.
And he was really upset about that, especially because they didn't give him, like, if you got some really cool random cosmetics in game and maybe some in-game currency or in-game buffs you could use because you're an OG.
Yeah.
I think that would make a lot of people happy, but they didn't do anything like that. They're just like, old stuff's free now. Thanks for all your money, which I also get, but you gotta do something to almost acknowledge the players that allowed you to get to that point.
Well,
I think that would have made a lot of people happier.
Gabe, you were saying something and we all jumped on you. So what was your comment?
Yeah, sorry about that.
I don't remember. What was I saying?
I don't know. You were saying what? And then I think all three of us really talked at once.
And we shut him down.
Well, going back to the article that was posted about this, this does differ a little bit from Destiny and these other things you mentioned, because I think all of the support, was it all free or were these paid DLCs?
No, it was all just added on to the base game.
Okay. So, I mean, that's like, Dan, you said yourself, you paid for the game and you felt pretty confident in the the $40 you spent, and it was like $40 well spent,
It was
right?
good $40. It was good $40. I was a huge Left 4 Dead 2 fan.
Mm-hmm.
I think I went into it differently than everybody else. I wanted it to be a standalone thing. I didn't want to really compare it to Left 4 Dead 2. I mean, Left 4 Dead 2 is still number 7 on the Steam charts for concurrent players, right?
Wow.
So, I don't think they were ever going to beat that. But if you treat it, own story, own kind of style that they wanted to try. I think the card system was a little bit far-fetched. I think it kind of sucked. I think it was too much. But I got what they were trying to do. They were trying to differentiate themselves from Left 4 Dead, right? Because they didn't want people to say, "Oh, this is just a clone," right?
Which is what people would have said if it came out.
They would have, yeah.
And it was just Left 4 Dead 2 remastered. People would have been like, "Why would I pay for the new one? It's the old game."
Yeah.
That's a whole nother topic for another podcast.
Yeah.
What's the difference? What's the difference between a remaster, right, and
there's people debating that right now with the new Dead Space. Same thing, because the original Dead Space looks pretty damn good already on PC, and then the new one, which there are new stuff to it and new new levels and things, but it is a very similar type game.
Remakes need to be way farther down the line than some of these that are coming out now.
Yeah, but another topic for another day.
Look at Final Fantasy VII. Like, their original game came out in 1997,
which I think is a good example
of a remake.
I think
same with the Resident Evil games.
That's what it
was far enough away that they can get away with it.
So
that ties into our discussion that we're having too, right? So if you kill a live service game, right, and then 2 years from now they make a remake or a remaster, because that's a new thing that we're seeing all over the place now. What point does it stop? So now we're going to remaster Destiny, right? Or we're going to remaster Back 4 Blood,
right?
Because we have this new technology that we can do. It's like, well, I mean,
you
killed it off.
Right,
because Kevin, you were saying, it's like games don't need to last forever. It's okay to do another title too. You don't have to remake or remaster everything.
But here's the one issue though. There's the difference between this game ending the development, because the game is still playable.
Right.
Which I think everyone is okay with. That's why it's not a huge big deal, I think. But the second thing that I kind of led into, that Mike, I'll let you jump into, about games that are a live service that end, that's the issue. So, Mike, do you want to tell us about what games have ended this week?
Completely different things.
Yeah, I think there's a couple other big ones happening right now. And one is Rumble Versus, which I think no one really ever knew what it was because it came out like within a week or two of Multiverses. But Rumble Versus was a 3D battle royale fighter. Actually very similar to Divine Knockout that also just came out. A little bit bigger scale because it was more of a battle royale. But no one knew what it was. It didn't gain traction. It had its core group that played it. It does have a decent little player base, but not big enough to support a game like that. And they said that game is going to end support, period. So no more servers.
Yeah, it's completely gone. February 28th.
So it's like you can't even host your own server and play it with your friends anymore. The servers are just going away. Another one in that is going to be Knockout City. That game is another one that
people liked that game.
You're not going to have you're not going to have online matchmaking anymore. I will say with that one, you might still be able to host your own games with friends. I have to look into that. I didn't read enough on that. And I hope you can, because I actually liked that game a lot, and that's another fun game to play. When me and a bunch of buddies go to a LAN event, if all you're looking for at those types of events are these party type games. I mean, Killing Floor, Left 4 Dead 2.
Yeah, that's one that I treated like Rocket League. I would
Yeah.
just play Knockout City for fun if I wanted to do something quick and
Yep.
kind of get into some kind of game with friends. That was another one that I went to.
It was a well-made game, and I do think it's an issue that these games are running into. That's the debate of, do I sell this for $20 and hope it just sells, or do I go free to play and hope the battle pass carries it? And they started out as a $20 release, went free to play after a while because it wasn't selling enough at $20.
Yeah, back
They
in
were
June.
hoping maybe the battle pass would carry it. But I think the issue with it at that point was it was already dead. Going free to play wasn't going to bring it back.
It wasn't going to bring it back.
Well, it's
unless they got a bunch of streamers or someone. If I guarantee, if you got 2 or 3 of the biggest streamers on Twitch to play a game for a week straight when it went free to play, it wouldn't be ending service right now.
Yeah.
And
Well,
that's
look
a
at
topic
Rocket
for a
League.
different time. Yeah,
Rocket League was paid. I think the best thing that they did was go free to play.
A lot of people argue that, but I
know.
will agree. I think that
I know they do. It's a hot topic.
for the esport of it, especially drawing in a more people, that younger audience, to climb the ladders and to fight for their spot when it comes to a professional level. I do think that was a huge benefit, but the difference was that game already had,
a following.
a million people playing it daily before
100%.
it
They
went.
were already going into esports
before it went free to play. Yeah, they were already huge. They were already on season 8 in RLCS before that went to free to play. So yeah, it's a little bit different comparison. But no, those are 2 of the big ones. There was a list of like 6 or 7 games that announced,
like Crossfire
this week.
X. I didn't play, but that's another one that's closing down.
I saw that too.
That one reviewed
horribly.
so bad. I'm not surprised.
Terrible.
I guess it came out broken.
Yeah, and then they just gave up on it.
Marvel.
There's a couple mobile games that came out: Apex Legends Mobile and Battlefield Mobile.
Those are both dead.
And then Marvel Avengers. That one was announced a little while ago, but that one's dead. They're shutting down the servers on it.
That one did not last that long.
No, none of these. I mean,
none of them really did. I mean, look at.
You think maybe that they're releasing too many of them?
Oh, I think everyone's trying to be Fortnite.
Such a broad aspect of these
almost.
types of games. Everybody's spread too thin.
I agree. Way too thin.
All trying to be Fortnite. I do think that Knockout City was a solid game, and I think they had a tough go of it at a different time period, or in a different dimension.
I agree with that 100%. At a different time,
off.
I think it would have been better. 100%.
I think that game comes out on PS3, Xbox 360, 2008 as a $20 arcade, Xbox arcade game or something.
It's taken off.
People jump on it. It's going to take off. That's going to be a game people play with their friends constantly. But it's just, again, kind of like the topic earlier, we live in this divide of there's like the top tier AAA that everyone talks about. And then along with that, there's like the esports games, because all of the streamers are playing those. Whether they're top tier, they're still AAA, like a Valorant, League of Legends, even Rocket League. I would put in that AAA bubble now because of where the studio is. They're owned by Epic. Those games get so much exposure in our current landscape of Twitch and YouTube, what we're doing right now, that that's all they need. They don't even need marketing besides that, because they're getting the free marketing or sometimes paid marketing by paying the streamer to do it daily on those platforms.
But it's so hard to stick out for them, because if I'm, let's say I'm a high school kid, I got no money and I want to play video games. I got a gaming computer for Christmas. What am I going to play? Well, why would I go play the free to play dodgeball game when I can go play free to play Fortnite and my friends are already playing it? Like,
exactly.
How does that break out to be like, it has to blow up at the beginning, or that's it? Like that stuff.
Yeah.
That's it. You don't break it out at the beginning. There's like, you'll see it slowly just decline. They throw in, let's try to change this, do this, but not many games will come back from the dead like that.
I think if Knockout City was free to play at the beginning, and I think they did like a 10-hour trial period, but if it was free to play straight up at the beginning, they might have taken off a little bit more, because for exactly what you said, I think there would have been more people who get on with their friends and they all say, oh, it's free. I saw X streamer playing it earlier today. Let's actually give it a try. Where instead they're like, oh, it's $20 and we were debating playing Fortnite today. Let's just do that.
Even them doing, they're a PC, it's digital. Like, they don't have a credit card. So now they have to try to go with their parents and deal with that.
But again,
Right.
But again, it's a risk they take because they don't make any money out of the gate unless people are going to go for the battle pass on these free to play games. And is that they can't pay the developers who worked on it
Mm-hmm.
if it doesn't make any money. So it's such a hard balance. They're like, how are we gonna put this out the door and hope
It's
people
tricky.
spend money on it?
The last part I want to hit on about this is all these games dying, and which is kind of the point I made at the beginning with the Back for Blood, how that is going away, but the game still exists. You can still play it. It's not gone forever. But the idea of all these other games, this online mode where sometimes in, Avengers, you still have some aspects of the game that's playable, the single player, it still exists. It's okay. But Knockout City or some of these other ones, I don't know the status of what the game's going to be after they shut the servers down. We kind of talked about maybe having a private lobby you could have and host it yourself, but some of this doesn't apply for. The game's just gone forever. So this brings up a topic, Dan, you talked about at the beginning about like some of these Xbox 360 games being different than today's physical media. I don't know if it was you or Mike that brought this up, but game preservation and like losing art just to history that we'll never be able to imitate or do again because of this is like depressing.
Yeah.
So like it's so hard because you used to be able to buy the physical media and that was it. You'd always be able to have it no matter what. But now you buy physical media, you might need to do those updates. Now the game's fully online. There is no physical media. You rely on them to keep the servers up, and when they shut them down, that's the end of it. So like, what do you guys think about that? Because to me, it's depressing because I collect all the physical media. I want to have it. I want to show my kids down the line, hey, this is the game I used to play, and I found that exciting because I had the same thing for my parents. They had an old Atari 2600. I remember my parents showing me, oh, this is what we used to play, and I was so fascinated it as a child. Where now I can't pull up, Knockout City and show my daughter that and say this is what I used to play.
There it is. There it is.
Exactly why I've started doing this with my Switch games is for a long time I was buying the digital editions, and I started switching. Now when I purchase a game, I go physical for the exact reason of what you said. I want to be able to show my kids these games, and especially something like the Nintendo Switch where they're going to be accessible. A lot of these are accessible games at a young age to get them into something fun, something to get their brain going. I mean, they have everything on there. You can go Fire Emblem, which is not an RTS, but it's an SRPG, so a strategy game that gets them reading. It gets them thinking, kind of problem solving. It develops great life skills in a video game, as well as just having a good time and teaching them about video games. So having that physical media that is going to be there is just a nice to have, I guess. It's something we're slowly losing with digital.
But we're losing
editions.
history. Like it's not just. It'd be like back in the day of all this art that we have today in museums behind glass. Like we lose all of that. It all gets thrown away, and it's all gone now. So I don't know.
Yeah, that'll be a fun topic for the future.
I agree.
What console generation do you think it'll happen with the PS6?
That's a
Switch,
whole nother podcast.
The Xbox Series.
That's another 3 podcasts, I think.
Don't get me started. We'll be here for another hour.
We'll talk about it at a different time. But when is it going to be all digital? Period. Because it's going to happen. It's happened with all other forms of media.
It's coming.
It is interesting because with music has made a resurgence with vinyl. People like the physical vinyl. They like having that. So hopefully, for the same reason, games will stick around. It'll be interesting.
All right. Well, I think that's a wrap for today. We didn't, drag Destiny's name through the mud again this week, thankfully. So hopefully everyone will be a little less salty than they were last week. But I will try to give it a go within the next couple of weeks. I still want to give my updated little review on it because it does interest me and does look like fun. So maybe,
like I said, I think you'll be surprised. I don't think it's a bad game. I think just give it a chance. See what you think. Yeah, and then next week, hopefully, depending on the reviews tomorrow morning, maybe all 4 of us will have played Harry Potter. Or damn it, yep,
Hogwarts Legacy. I can never get that name right. It's forever a Harry Potter game. Sorry, it's just how it is.
Everyone's going to be talking about it next week. So
for sure.
All right, friends, thank you for joining me for episode 3 of the dotSlashGaming podcast. I will see you all soon. Take it easy.
See you later, everybody.
Later.
Have a good day.
Yeah.